Maybe not. Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG, where today Evan and I are going to be drafting the 2025 Dynasty rookies head-to-head in a mock draft. Evan, dude, I like your shirt today.
Thanks. I've been told that I always wear orange on Tuesdays, so I figured I'd switch it up. Chris got me this for Christmas, said I need to add a little bit to my wardrobe, so here we are.
Nice. Shout out Chris, friend of the pod, friend of the show. But listen, the people are here to learn about some rookies. Let's talk about them. Quick notes before we jump into this. We are using the latest Tankathon mock draft for projected draft capital and landing spots. Obviously, it's going to change a ton. Like, there's a couple of guys on here I don't think they're going to test as well, so they may not actually get that early draft capital. Evan, were there any surprises looking at this?
Well, I'm looking at it the same time as the people, Mike. So,
Delightful.
I'm on top of my game as always. Some surprises as always, some landing spots that seem like they could be fun.
And some that seem like they'll make us sad. I went ahead. I'm just going to recap the first round of what the actual draft looked like. I pulled out all of the fantasy relevant players. So we got Shadur Sanders going 101 to the Titans, Cam Ward going 102 to the Browns. The Giants then take the best player in the draft and Travis Hunter. Tet McMillan over to the Panthers at 108. Hi, Drew. I love you. Good to see you, buddy. For the audio only listeners that are listening to the replay afterwards, that's Drew over on our YouTube where we're hopping on live for once. We got Ashton Jeanty to the Cowboys at 112, Tyler Warren to the Colts, Luther Burden, 17th pick, Colson Loveland to the Broncos, Emeka Egbuka to the Steelers. Thank God we get a wide receiver 2, maybe a wide receiver 1. Jalen Milroe, I know I said I was just doing the first round, but I wanted to shout this out, to the Giants in the second round, which would be a lot of fun. Evan, we didn't talk about this because people love us to do the show on the show. You want to go first or second?
You can go first, Mike. I'm interested to see, once we get a little bit later on, because I think we know what the 101 is going to be. So,
yep, that's nice and easy for me. That's Ashton Jeanty, 101. The Dallas Cowboys need a running back, and so do a lot of my dynasty teams. So I will happily take him off the board. It's too easy, baby.
Too easy, Mike says. Man, okay. All right. So we are here at the 102. Should be pretty straightforward, pretty chalk at this point. I don't know, Mike. Maybe it'll raise some feathers, but we're going to say Tet McMillan. Yep. You already had him boxed right here. Should be pretty straightforward. The Panthers need a wide receiver 1. This is a lineup that is in desperate need of some wide receiver talent. Obviously, they've tried to invest in Mingo and Leggett these past couple of years. Coker seems like he's doing, something that could be somewhat useful from an NFL standpoint. Corpse of Adam Thielen still doing what Adam Thielen does. And Bryce looked much better in the second half after that benching.
Yeah, I mean, this is either Bryce plays well and Tet goes to the moon, or Bryce plays poorly and Tet gets a better quarterback in 2026.
All right, Mike, wait. Before we get too far into this,
yep.
I mean, we're tight end degenerates here. So
we're not doing a tight end premium. We're doing no premium.
Why? Why do you do this?
Superflex, 1 PPR, very normal league for normal people, not degenerates like us with 2 tight end leagues and leagues where there's no lineups, only Superflex spots everywhere. You'll notice that I'm scrolling down a little bit here. So I'm going to just go ahead and take my RB2 in the class with a juicy landing spot. I'm going to go Omarion Hampton. Look, he goes to the Raiders with a top 50 pick. I like the talent. I like the landing spot. The offense might not be super sexy, but he's going to get a ton of volume. So how do you feel about Hampton at the 3rd spot?
Yeah, Hampton with the Raiders. What do we know the Raiders don't have? A quarterback. They don't have running backs that are useful.
Whoa. Let me scroll down real quick. Dude, everything's solved. They took Quinn Ewers in the 3rd round.
Obviously. Yep. It's just completely solved.
What more do you need?
Ready for an epic collapse. So,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll establish the hell out of the run with Hampton there.
Yes. Very, very much so. Very much so. I'm going to go with a pick that I think is absolutely just must have, definitely needed. Emeka Ibuka. I'm going to go a little higher than most people have
That is
on
very high.
on Ibuka here.
Okay.
Look, I like the safety of his profile. I know exactly what I'm going to be getting.
Mhm.
I can build around that. I can work on knowing that, sure, I'm not getting a wide receiver one. I sure as heck shouldn't be getting a bust, though, at all. Like, there
Yep.
is very minimal single digit bust potential on Igbuka. We don't know what Travis Hunter is doing at this point. That's going to be something that I don't even think we're going to know come the time that rookie
Mhm.
drafts are going on around here. Quarterbacks, I'm not sold on either one of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, they could be fine, but I think Mike and I are in similar boats here. And Luther Burden, there are too many question marks right there on what exactly he could be to be taking him at this spot.
If I told you T. Higgins walks, does that change your Luther Burden outlook or no?
Well, I mean, sure, if you tell me that he walks, but everything everything this offseason says that
Points
he's
the other
not
way.
going to. So
Yep. No, I identify with that. I'm just going to go ahead. Listen, it's the running back draft. I like a lot of these running backs. A couple of them went to pretty stinky spots, which we'll cover later on. But I'm going to go with Caleb Johnson, who is taking to the Denver Broncos with another almost top 50 pick, the 51st pick. Elite missed tackles forced. That backfield looks disgusting, especially with Javonte walking. Like he's going to walk in there and eat everybody else's lunch. Sean Payton wants to have a better running game, so let's give it to him.
he also wants to have a committee backfield, Mike. All
Yep.
right. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yep.
Caleb not getting 20 plus touches a game.
He's
You're
gonna get
still want that.
15 to 18 and all of the goal line touches. I think this is a souped up Brian Robinson in a better offense, ideally.
Okay. All right. Well, I may not be sold on the quarterbacks, but here at 106, it's still a super flex draft. So we're going to be taking Shador Sanders because the Titans have the better players around him. The Titans are building a better culture. Look, Corcoran's a big Browns fan, but it's tough to watch right now. Browns football is unfortunate at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So just staying away from Cam, especially this early, talking first half of the first round. Do I think he's the better player? Sure. But you got to have an offensive line to be able to protect him. You got to have wide receivers more than the often injured Jerry Jeudy. Then you have Njoku, and that is about the only player that can catch a football on that Browns offense as it currently stands. Whereas we have a dynamic running game here in Nashville. We have a left side of an offensive line, no right side to be seen, but we have a left side, so that's something. And then you have some semblance of wide receivers to be able to do maybe something in the passing game.
Okay. So you're saying that 30, will it be 30 or 31? Calvin Ridley is better than everyone on the Browns combined?
Ridley's better than Jeudy.
And Nick Westbrook-Akine is elite, as we all know.
Hey, deep ball threat right there, baby.
Yep. I agree. I think this is the spot in the draft that I will be looking at quarterbacks. However, let's say that T. Higgins is just tagged, or maybe they want to go a different direction. They desperately wanted a wide receiver 3, and their receivers deal with banged up guys all the time. Look, Luther Burden's 2023, electric, amazing, exciting. His 2024 left a little to be desired, but the traits are still there. The explosiveness is still there. The yak ability is still there. And I will take that in the Bengals offense with the hope he can move into the wide receiver 2 role moving forward over some of the question marks that I have at quarterback. I did glance real quick at a couple tight ends.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting that you mentioned the tight ends. But at this point in the first round, you're a team that just made the playoffs. All right. You're a team that probably has some solid pieces here. So what do you want to do? You want to swing for the home run. All right, we're going Travis Hunter,
Yep.
full swing for the fences. This is that MLB The Show, just mashing the square button, just going full power swing, trying to put it in the stands. Look, Neighbors is there. We still have no clue how the quarterback room is going to situate itself out. It looks like they're taking Jalen Milroe, which what does Milroe do great? Chuck the ball downfield.
He chucks it downfield. It's nowhere near the receiver, but it goes really far.
But at least he's not throwing short passes to Travis Hunter.
I mean, fair. At this point in the draft, again, you just made the playoffs. You're a very good team. You're maybe just a piece away. Maybe you had a quarterback go down. Maybe you want trade bait for later. First round quarterbacks are going to hold their value for a little bit longer. So I will just go ahead and take Cam Ward, even with the Browns stink all over him. I think his ability out of structure, I think that killer instinct is going to take him a long way. Evan, give us one more pick, and then I'm going to recap our first round and the second round of what the NFL draft had for fantasy.
Yeah, the next pick is one of the easiest picks to be able to be made in this draft in Tyler Warren. You're getting what everybody wanted Dalton Kincaid to be coming out of college, but even a better version. You're getting him in a offense that desperately needs a tight end to man the middle of the field, and you're getting a tight end that can be deployed in line, off the line, in the slot, out wide, lined up in the backfield, can play wildcat quarterback. Can you imagine being in the red zone, inside the green zone even, we'll say, inside the 10 there, and having Tyler Warren and Anthony Richardson in the backfield, just not knowing who's going to absolutely just mash the ball through the line for you?
Yeah, it's going to be a hard pass for me. I don't feel like playing linebacker against that. All right, so our first round, it went my team with Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Luther Burden, and Cam Ward. Evan with Tet McMillan and Egmika Egbuka, Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Tyler Warren. Still on the board from the first round, we got Colson Loveland to the Broncos, the 120. Now to the second round, we got Jalen Milroe to the Giants. We already took a couple of guys there. Trey Harris goes to the Chargers, which gives him a big-bodied option, which entices me. Isaiah Bond to the Lions, which he's buried forever and sad. Alec Aomanor to the Commanders. Interesting. Harold Fannin Jr. to the Eagles. And then rolling into the third round, we got a quarterback. We have Jalen Milroe. Jalen Royals to the Patriots. Matthew Golden to the Saints. He's been a big draft riser recently. I don't know if he's going to last until the third round. Ollie Gordon to the Bears with the new Ben Johnson offense. Savion Williams, Tez Johnson, Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson, Cam Scatabo, Jaden Higgins, Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm, and Devin Neal to round out all of the fantasy players that were in the Tankathon mock draft. Some of those landing spots are gross. Like if Travion goes to the Colts, I will cry.
See, but, I think I don't think it's as bad as you make it out to be, Mike.
Do you think JT walks soon? Or do you think that it just turns into a disgusting split in a weird offense where the quarterback also gets 30% of the carries?
We'll discuss later.
All right. Well, I'll let you pick him. I am going to go ahead and go with, well, you took my number one tight end based on landing spot and draft capital. I'll just go ahead and take Colson Loveland. Look, the volume metrics aren't going to be there because Michigan is a low volume passing offense. Their offense looked horrible this year because they didn't have J.J. McCarthy running it. I just think Loveland brings a lot of the big slot move tight end traits that you want to see. He's not going to be Travis Kelce, but he can be a very solid tight end for years to come.
Okay. Well, remember our way too early rankings for wide receivers that we had, Mike? And you were trying to sell me on Alec Aomanor?
Oh, you came around?
And I said, there's no way I'm even looking at him. He's going back to school because every report said that he was going back to school and transferring because, well, Stanford football. Enough said right there. But yes, we're going to go with Alec Aomanor. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels can handle two wide receivers and produce fantasy numbers for two wide receivers. He has the arm. We have everything that we need to see out of Jaden Daniels this season. We'll see if Cliff stays around. I think that is the interesting piece of all of this, because if Cliff does stay around, I mean, that seems like a pretty close to a slam dunk to me. Looking in the second round or very, very end of the first round in 12-team leagues here, they need a wide receiver too. It's been pretty obvious all season. Terry McLaurin has had a great season, don't get me wrong, but having a running mate there will absolutely just unlock this offense and allow them to continue to get better with a sophomore season, Jaden Daniels at the helm.
Look, I'm all in on Jaden Daniels. I'm all in on Alec. I thought you were going to let him slide more, which is why I kind of let him sit there. I'm going to do the most Mike thing that you can do. I'm going to go super risk-seeking at quarterback. Listen, so this is a 12-team league. This is at your 201. Your team stinks. You are garbage. You probably need a quarterback. You probably need a couple of wide receivers. You need a lot. Jalen Milroe, when he sees the field, is going to run an unholy amount. Find the sucker in your league and trade him after a big game if you don't believe in him. Or maybe he finally puts the tools together and becomes a competent NFL quarterback. Whichever side of the fence you are there, Jalen Milroe has a lot of opportunities to gain value and then make your team better as a result.
All right. This is a wide receiver that I've been standing for a very long time. I know it sucks to try and have this be chalk here, Mike, but Trey Harris to the Chargers.
Oh, it's so chalk.
He is exactly what they wanted Quentin Johnston to be.
Yep.
And he is a better version. He will put Johnston out of a job. He will move clearly into that wide receiver 2 position in that offense. He will be the second read because lads for dad.
Other way around.
Dads for lad.
No, lad is for dads.
Yeah, I mean, is lad a dad?
I don't think so, but Lad McConkey, big fan of dads.
There you go. Big fan of dads, and dads are a fan of him. So he is the one in that offense. Herbert 100% can handle 2 wide receivers, keeping them fantasy relevant. Now, let's keep in mind here, Trey Harris is not the slam dunk right out of the gate pick.
Mm-mm.
There are too many routes that he needs to learn how to run in an NFL system. But when you think about the fact that he played, 9 games this season and had about a 5 yards per route run, that's pretty legendary.
We'll take
for
that.
most analytical people out there. You look at him, he improved every single season. He knows how to run an up-tempo offense, which we've seen more teams in the NFL start going up-tempo, giving them the big body receiver that can continue to run down the field, be able to get back and keep doing that time and time again, going up, winning the contested catches, being able to win at the top of his routes. Love it.
Yep. All right. After taking a really risky pick, I'm just going to take a little easier pick. I believe in Quinshon Judkins. I think he is a hell of a talent. I do not give a flying fork about Ramondre Stevenson's extension after he was almost benched for Antonio Gibson. Judkins would eat everyone's lunch there. He is the best back I would say one of the best backs in the AFC East at that point. You got to, talk about HM, but big fan. I think he's electric. I think he's not that fast, as we saw in the national championship game. Christmas cookies hit him a little too hard, but I don't need 90-yard runs. I need a bunch of 40-yard runs with volume and goal line work. And he has softer hands than people give him credit for.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying right there, Mike. I was really hoping that Judkins was going to be able to fall just another pick to be able to let me just enjoy some QJ on that team.
Good QJ though.
Good QJ, not the bad QJ that we're replacing with Trey Harris here. So yeah, you put all of that together.
So you want Devin Neal next?
Look, Eagles fan, fully embrace it. But no, I'm okay here, Mike. You know that I'm not an Isaiah Bond fan.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know why he came out. He had to have gotten some great reports from NFL execs, from the draft, projected draft capital. because I'm just not seeing it. The production's not there. The profile hasn't been there. Being able to stay healthy hasn't been there. Sure, he's playing multiple games. He's playing double-digit games every year in college, but he's constantly banged up. It's hard to watch. Fannin Jr., we'll talk about this when we go over our tight end ranks here. Going to the Eagles, I don't know a true position for him. He is very good. He is a very good football player.
Mm-hmm.
I question in that Eagles offense how he would be utilized because Goddard is better.
Yes.
Okay, so continue to move down here. We're going to go Tez Johnson.
Oh, you goober.
Reaching all the way down there. All right. Goddard does have, yes, seeing the comments, Goddard has major health concerns. That is very accurate. He does not play full seasons, but at the same time, they also use 2 tight ends a chunk. They rotate the tight ends through. Fannin's a monster. Fannin's a great college player. We'll see how everything plays out. But Tez Johnson, Cowboys, it pains me to talk about the Cowboys, Mike. So that's how I knew I had to make this pick. All right. So what does Dak need? What does CD need?
A wide receiver 2 that can separate.
Offense? Yeah, what does this offense need? A wide receiver 2 that can separate. Gee, what a shocker. You have somebody who's been consistently productive at Oregon, has had plenty of national exposure here. Yes, he is thin. He is about as thin as I don't know, 2x4. We're gonna go with that. Can we do a 1x4?
Maybe.
Maybe he's a 1x4.
He's a 1x2.
I don't know. I don't think that he's gonna come in above 168.
He makes Tank Dell look thick.
Yeah, man. But for those few games before he absolutely just gets broken on the field, he will be great for that offense. And all the better at this point, Mike. When somebody's playing, I can put him in my lineup. When they're injured, they're not in my lineup.
All right, so we're betting on hopefully not breaking any bones. Tez Johnson.
Yeah, give me 6 games of Tez Johnson with a 12 to 14 points per game.
At the 204, that's fine. We'll take that.
Yeah, take it all day.
Before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out. Go to Last Run Sports, read some articles. There's going to be some Dynasty rookie rankings. There's scouting reports for everything. Anything that you need that is related to football and fantasy football, head over there. It's all free. What's there to lose? While you're here, like and subscribe. We're doing all of this for funsies. So if we could actually make a little bit of money by getting monetized on YouTube, that would be because you guys keep listening. So thank you very much for listening. Let's get back into this draft. Evan, you're a goober. I'm picking Ollie Gordon, who just went to the Bears. I do not care about what happened in 2024. He's big, he's fast, he's strong. He runs mean when he wants to. And now he's going to, hopefully, a good offense. So maybe he gets the David Montgomery role in that Ben Johnson offense. Maybe he just runs everything there because Ben Johnson and DeAndre Swift have past beef. So I think with that draft capital, with that landing spot, I would take Ollie Gordon over Tez Johnson in a heartbeat.
Okay, all right. That's quite the take there, Mike. So looking here at Dallas Goedert's contract, going back to my beautiful Eagles, in that championship game for the NFC, unlike your Steelers, who just so happen to be sitting on their butts at home or in Aruba or some tropical destination.
That's fine.
So we're gonna go with Fannin at this point. Fannin Jr. He's an absolute monster. We know exactly, well, hopefully at this point, exactly what he did in college. Absolute production king. Yes. Okay. He's in a G5. All right. Not great, but we know that he still produced. He still played some of the P4 teams. We're talking about somebody that's still 20 years old, hasn't turned 21 yet, which is not something that you can say about Tyler Warren. Colson Loveland's still 20.
Tyler Warren is old.
Tyler Warren has been in college a good good bit. But we look at the 2024 season, 95.9 PFF rating. Yeah, that's ungodly. That's crazy. 3.76 yards per route run. That's crazy. We have a run blocking grade of 75 from PFF, which
we'll take it.
Sure, that's passable.
We'll
do I want him constantly blocking at 230? Questionably 230? No, really don't. But 1,500 yards in college in a single season. Season before that, 14 yards per reception. These are numbers on an explosive Eagles offense that could use another tight end with Dallas Goedert's contract coming up with, as was mentioned previously, the health concerns. Absolutely love some action. Yeah, Drew, I'm seeing you over there. I'm that degenerate sitting gambling on Wednesday night action, and I've seen plenty of Fannin this year.
Yep. You also saw Fannin go for casual 11-137 and a touchdown against Penn State. And he was the only thing on the offense there. Mike from Dynasty Dogs gave us Delaney Walker as a good comp. I love that. And then also, I want to throw out, he could be Isaiah Likely in this offense. He would be a tight end handcuff. Goddard goes down, you plug him in and you're happy with him. Otherwise, when he's on the field, he's going to have great efficiency metrics because when he's on the field, he's going to earn targets. So like that call out. But you keep forgetting it's a running back draft. Draft the running backs. Draft the running backs. Draft the running backs. Give me Cam Scatabo to the Bengals. Chase Brown, go to the Shadow Realm. Cam's going to eat everything. Not everything. It would probably turn into another Thunder and Lightning combo. But I like what Scatabo brings to the table as a hard runner in the AFC North. As the kind of guy and the tone setter that this offense needs. I think they would rely on him if they ever play with a lead, which will not be likely given that Bengals defense.
Okay, Mike. All right. So we're getting to the juicy.
Gross.
We're getting to the juicy part of this draft.
It's getting gross.
All right. TreVeyon Henderson, we've seen what he's done all playoffs. Yes, the Colts landing spot isn't the best landing spot. But what you're looking at with the Colts is you're still looking at an elite left side of the offensive line. You're looking at a questionable right side of the line. You're looking at Pittman taking a step back at wide receiver. You're looking at Downs still being Downs. And then you have Pierce taking over or seemingly taking over instead of A.D. Mitchell, that wide receiver 3 role. So you have some wide receivers. You already took a tight end earlier in the draft, which we're just doing that, getting Tyler Warren in this draft and TreVeyon Henderson. We have Jonathan Taylor, who has been showing some signs of wear, has been showing some signs of decline, dare I say. You put all of that together, decent offensive line, wide receivers that can catch a ball, a tight end that's good. Tyler Warren is a good blocker. All right. Don't be shading on Tyler Warren's blocking skills. As I've seen some people on X, over here.
Check the film study. I was a big blocking fan for Warren.
So yeah, you put all of that together with the dual threat potential of Richardson, or whoever they bring in is probably going to be a backup pure pocket passer. If that's the case, then you have potential for dump offs, which Henderson has pretty smooth hands to be able to make those plays, and a lot of burst out of the backfield, efficiency back once again. So you don't need him to be able to get 15, 20 carries a game. He can get 10, be able to rip off 70 yards and a touchdown in those 10 carries.
Completely agree. Better for best ball, I think, while JT is still there, or if JT goes down, he's the clear handcuff. Taylor is gone after 2026. So really, you're just holding TreVeyon in your taxi squad for 2 years, which I don't hate that. Let's go ahead. Are you ready? Mason Taylor to the Chargers. They made all of America know that Will Disley played tight end this year. And while I love that, maybe Mason Taylor just brings a little more. This is purely a landing spot thing. You know that I don't love Taylor as a prospect, but I am willing to listen to other people who say that he is good. I like the landing spot. Everything else is kind of gross right now. Give me a possible number 2 or number 3 option in a Justin Herbert offense.
Okay. Definitely see what you're going for there, Mike. We're believing in Herbert. We're believing in the offense. We're believing in efficiency. Taylor's a capable blocker as well. Mans the middle of the field. Isn't going to be your deep ball threat. So you're going to have to count on PPR points, being able to get those receptions. Maybe you have a league that has first down points. He'd be a great check down for a first down type of play there.
Yeah.
Okay, so my pick, I did not expect Matthew Golden to come out in this draft. I very much thought he was going back to Texas, and I have been watching a lot more of his tape, so call it recency bias, call it whatever you want. But I clearly have him over Isaiah Bond, and it's not even close for me. The Saints landing spot is atrocious. Having Olave, having Shaheed, not really having a quarterback to be able to throw. Derek Carr looked fine. He looked like Derek Carr.
For a couple weeks, yeah.
But Derek Carr is not carrying 3 wide receivers and Alvin Kamara out of the backfield in fantasy. So that 100% is a best ball target. That 100% is expecting and not hoping, but expecting, begrudgingly, we'll say, that Olave or Shaheed doesn't come back fully healthy and can't stay fully healthy for a season.
I think Golden brings a different element to this offense. So, yes, everybody there is a big play threat, but I think Golden's a little better of a route runner than Shaheed is. And if either of them are, struggling with things, Golden can immediately fit in, be the number 2, give you a flex option or something. Like you have those deep dynasty leagues, you're starting 4 or 5 flexes, plug them in, pray for a touchdown, get an option there. I actually have a question here for you. So we just picked a couple of guys that we don't love the landing spots, or we love the landing spots, we don't love the prospects. If we included this out to day 3 and there were some running backs that went to juicier spots, are you starting to look to day 3 running backs, or are you still taking day 2 wide receivers here?
It's so hard because I just have such a low grade on Bond. I
agree.
Some hope that Savion Williams can be a deep play, catch one pass, like MVS type of role for the Raiders.
Just finished my write-up on him for Football Guys. I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Like I said, one pass like MVS does, break that 1 for 50 and a touchdown. Jaden Higgins, we'll see. Definitely like him, but yeah, I don't know. Jalen Royals, I mentioned him in the way too early. Yeah. So I like his profile. I like what he does. I like how he can fit in an offense.
Yeah.
Yes, I would probably start looking at the 4th round running backs at this point to answer your question, Mike.
Yeah. Answer a question from the chat. No, Jackson Dart did not get drafted on day 2 in this mock draft, which is a big bummer for me because I would start taking a swing on him. I actually think I've reached the point in this draft. Listen, it's gross. It's disgusting. But take Quinn Ewers going to the Vegas Raiders because who else is playing quarterback there? They need a human being with an arm, and Quinn Ewers has that. So hopefully they get a good head coach. Hopefully they get a good OC. Hopefully they fix some of his fundamentals. They match his feet with his arm. He stops playing all out of rhythm. Dude, I don't love a lot about what he put on tape this year. The good Quinn Ewers is good. Unfortunately, he's only there for the first quarter and a half until he gets hit twice, and then he curls into a shell of himself.
Is this the last pick in the 2nd round? Am I counting this right, Mike? Is this the last pick of our draft here?
It is.
Okay. All right.
Wrap us up.
Well, in that case, then I'm going to go with my boy Jalen Royals over here, shouting him out before. He's that slot wide receiver. All right. That guy that on the Patriots, Drake May needs somebody that he can count on in that offense. Yeah, that's going to be a needed role. So we're betting on Drake May. We're betting on the offense being questionable. Do I love the fact that he's going to have to compete against Pop Douglas? Not really, considering that Pop is probably the best wide receiver in that offense.
Pop rules.
But at the same time, I liked the profile of Jalen Royals. I liked what he did. Once again, maybe this is because I'm a betting degenerate, and I just so happened to watch a lot of Utah State for betting purposes here. Rather lucrative, fun to watch some of those games if you really want to degen out. But just one of those fun picks. Make sure people know, make sure they know the name, make sure they can look at his profile. But Mike, we didn't take Isaiah Bond here.
Yeah. All right. So let's real quick. Let's just talk about the guys that we did not take. Either give them some love or talk about why we didn't. Start at the top. Isaiah Bond. I could not pick him in good faith because of what he has done in the last part of the season. I think he's going to bring more to an NFL offense than he is to our fantasy teams. Like, he's going to be a speed threat that they have run clear outs so that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams can run in-breaking routes underneath it. Like, it's unfortunate because I think the early season Isaiah Bond, there was a lot to like there. But I agree with you. Like, Matthew Golden is a more refined, better wide receiver at this point in their careers. Weird Golden didn't go back to school. Like, that's when we did our early rankings. I was like, oh, Golden's going back to school. I'm not even worried about that. You want to talk about Savion Williams? I just finished a write-up for him if you don't.
Well, just real quick here, Mike. That landing spot is also just absolute trash for Isaiah Bond. Like,
buried on the depth chart.
Yeah, if he does go to Detroit, behind St. Brown, behind Jamison Williams, behind Laporta, behind Gibbs. So we're talking at best the fifth option in that offense.
Well, Tim Patrick had a couple big spike weeks there at the end.
Woof. But Savion Williams, he's going to be one of those guys that people don't know when he goes into the combine. They're going to see his RAS score. He's going to rise up boards, which is just what the Raiders love to do.
Yeah.
Hopefully not with Tom Brady there now, but we'll see if Raiders still do Raiders. But yeah, he's a TCU guy, ran a lot of screens, ran a lot of end arounds, ran a lot of deep plays, shots, going on 9 routes, just go, maybe some deep posts, things like deep corners, different routes like that. He's not a guy that's going to be running that intermediate route tree. Most likely won't be running defined short routes other than maybe a slant.
It's all very linear for him. If he cannot like full speed run in a straight line, he's not interested. Or he did have a couple of medium hook routes that were good in the Big 12.
All right, Jaden Higgins, man, this is one that I like. Jaden Higgins, I like Iowa State, both of their wide receivers.
We got to talk then. We'll do an episode on that later.
Okay. So
I have notes.
Okay, the profile that he has, the offense that they ran, being able to work with a young quarterback, being able to be that senior presence, be able to be that old man in the room, be able to take, as the team has said, other wide receivers under his wing. It makes him valuable to an NFL franchise if he continues to do all of that stuff, which will keep him on a roster, which, look, if you're going middle of late, in this case, of the 3rd round, who's he really fighting on the Broncos?
Vele. They're the same player.
All right. So he's fighting Vele for a spot.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not super concerned about that. We know Bo Nix. People love Bo Nix out here. Like, I will happily move off of Bo Nix for the amount of love that people are showing for him in these draft streets, in these trade streets. Like, I will happily do that at the value that people are giving up. But yes, pairing him in a Sean Payton offense that also took Caleb Johnson and a tight end in Colston Loveland. That is Sean Payton saying the offense is going to be a priority. Yes, Franklin is still there. That's all there is to say, is Franklin is still technically there.
Sean Payton forgot about Troy Franklin, for being honest.
Yes, very much so.
But wrapping up the day 2 selections, it was Gunnar Helm to the Jets at the 30th pick in the 3rd round. He's a medium tight end that's going to go to a bad offense that we like. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback, maybe Tyrod Taylor, like maybe Jordan Travis. Like I don't know what this offense is going to look like, and I have no interest in investing in a medium prospect on a bad offense. And then Devin Neal, our sweet prince. This is what's going to happen come draft season. Like some guys that we like are going to go to spots that bury them. And if Devin Neal, whose best attributes are rhythm running, finding seams, and getting through contact, goes to a spot where he is the backup if Saquon gets hurt, like you have to draft him as the handcuffs, which I'm open to that in the back of the 2nd round. If you already have Barkley, I'm open to that in the 3rd round because you're just swinging on a guy that will hopefully outlive Barkley in that offense. But hard to see anybody getting a chance in the Eagles offense. Cool.
It's an elite offensive line. Like if he gets a chance and he plays, and Barkley, Barkley, please don't get injured. We need you. You carry the team. Your quads are enough to carry this team. So,
yep. But all right. So to recap the entire Superflex rookie mock draft, we have me with Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Luther Burden, Cam Ward, and Colston Loveland in the 1st round. Jalen Milroe, Quinshawn Judkins, Ollie Gordon, Cam Scatabo, Mason Taylor, and Quinn Ewers in the 2nd round. Evan, you want to run through your team and then say bye to the people?
Yeah, so I got Tet McMillan, then I got Mika Ibuka, I got Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Tyler Warren, Elikeo Manor in the 1st round. A lot of wide receivers. Love some wide receivers in these dynasty streets. Everybody does. Then we continue with the wide receiver tree and go Trey Harris, Tez Johnson. Then we go tight end at Harold Fannin Jr., absolute stud out of Bowling Green. Then we got Travion Henderson, the king of the college football playoffs over here. Matthew Golden, the early declare from Texas. And my sleeper, Jalen Royals.
All right. Well, that does it for today's episode. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, like, subscribe. If you're audio only, give us those stars. Evan will undo a button for every 5-star rating we get, and he will do next week with however many we go down. Bye-bye. Evan, I love you. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't the goblins get you.